finishers and factions catching action.
And hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Finishers and Factions does Monday Night Raw. This week we are in Glasgow, Scotland in the OVO Hydro Arena. And well, this is one of the ones that are a lot closer to home for myself and for my co-host Adam as well. Adam, one of the the home European legs of the tour. So this one was right up our street watching it live.
Oh, 100%. We've well and truly hit home ground. No longer touring around the US. No longer are WWE touring around the US and mainland Europe. They have hit the British Isles and hit it hard in Glasgow, Scotland. And yeah, just an absolute. I mean, just an absolutely phenomenal crowd response again from a homeland for us a homeland territory.
Glasgow had just shy of 11,000 people in attendance in a sold-out OVO Hydro Arena, and that was just under 11,000 people who were chanting "John Cena sucks" as Cena's music hit, and he begrudgingly made his way down the ramp to start off this week's programming in ring.
Yeah, so it's nice to see Cena making a little bit more of an appearance on this farewell tour.
I thought he'd already done the tour and said farewell.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, very much a very sort of detached John Cena this week, coming down into the OVO Hydro, and the Glasgow crowd really let him have it.
Well,
they did not hold back at all.
I mean, we know a few Scottish people, and we've played some Call of Duty over the years against quite a few Scottish people. When have we ever known the Scots to hold back, Adam?
No, I know, but still.
Yeah, they have levels, and they even surpassed their own levels this week with the amount of noise they gave Mr. Cena, and the amount of abuse they gave him too.
Yeah, very much so.
Which only fed into his tirade, to be fair.
Oh, 100%. I definitely felt like he was taunting the Glasgow crowd to begin with. It's a case that he didn't wait anywhere near as long as he did the first time round. When we saw him last week on Raw, it was a case that we got. He very much let the crowd react. This week, none of that. Keeping it trying to keep it very short and sweet. But yeah, I mean, this entire promo, I think, took up at least a good quarter of the time that Raw had.
It was
entire broadcast.
Very, very long promo, and it was an awful lot more of what we got last time of just Cena berating the WWE universe and just playing them off against themselves. You know, just working them like a little bit of a stress putty in his fingers, and that's pretty much all the crowd were to him tonight. He worked each and every single one of them so easily. He got the reaction that he's so wanted so badly that to him, and he tells us all the way through this promo, "You're just making this easy for me. Like, there is nothing about this heel turn that." And he's walked straight into it, and he's doing it so well. And you look at him and think he's been doing it for 20 years, when he hasn't.
No, this is.
I don't even think he's been a heel for 20 days yet.
I think the Elimination Chamber. No, I think it's been more than 20 days. But yeah, he's very much putting the crowd firmly in his crosshair and reminding them almost within every sentence that this is all about them, not about him, it's about them. and he's very careful with what he can do. I mean, he brings up by now, any wrestling fan worth their salt will have seen all of the memes, the clips. I mean, WWE posted it themselves of the kid in Brussels last week. That got absolutely ripped to shreds.
If that was a stand-up comedy show, that guy would have been crying. Yet he stood there and took that tirade from Cena, and yeah, the only thing he had to do was kind of pick his jaw up off the floor, like, is that really happening? Did he just say that to me? This is John Cena. Oh my god, how can he say that? But he did.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. We all heard him loud and clear.
And for once, we actually all saw him too.
Yeah. Oh, but we can't make jokes like that.
He doesn't like it.
He doesn't like that. He doesn't like it anymore.
Nope. He's a Karen.
But
he's Karen Cena.
He is Karen Cena. And after he sort of spends a good 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes just ripping into the crowd, basically saying, yeah, I know you better than you know yourselves at this point.
Yeah.
Because every time you give a reaction to anything I've done over the last 25 years, I've listened, I've learned, and I know how you think and feel.
Yeah, he's been studying the WWE universe. To him, this has all just been one big experiment, along with, you know, the WWE throwing in childish, curse-ridden nursery rhymes, to quote John Cena on that one.
Yeah, he didn't like the fact that the Glasgow crowd were using quite a lot of profanity as well. That seemed to really bother Cena.
A Scotsman using a swear word? I don't fucking believe it, Adam. I really don't.
Well, I was about to say something similar, to be quite honest. I mean, they're Scottish. I don't know what exactly you expect.
And all drunk people swear all the time.
Yeah. Then he starts going over some of the things that have happened in the past, and one of the first points he sort of comes to is the world famous spinner belt that he bought in 2005, I believe.
April 2005, when we got the famous spinning title. And a lot of us, personally, I quite enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought it was fresh, and I thought it worked.
Yeah, 100%. I loved the spinner belt, but a lot of the hardcore gatekeeping wrestling fans really did take issue with it.
It was just a toy. How could you make the most prestigious thing in pro wrestling a toy? Well, it's a toy that people are still buying replicas of 20 years later.
Oh,
let me just throw that out there. 20 years later, people are going to these shows and buying replica spinner belts. So, did John Cena make some serious cheese off that? Yes, he did.
Is John Cena still making some serious cheese off that?
Oh, yes, he is. Yes, he is. Because those belts, they're not cheap. Those replica belts are not cheap at all.
No, definitely not. Now, the next thing that he says, and this is even for John Cena, this is a bold claim to make, but he says that he claims to be able to ruin wrestling for everybody, not just fans, but superstars, everyone.
Well, and he's got a plan of doing this. And now, do you not think that this plan of his, and I'll go into it in a second, is very CM Punky 2013?
Yes, very much
right?
so.
This was
the irony of it is,
Cena threatened to run away and retire with the world title in his hands, which is exactly the same as CM Punk did when he beat John Cena at SummerSlam in, I believe it was 2013, and walked out and through the crowd with that title, walked home, threw the belt in the fridge, and left it there. Like, he just discarded it. He threw it in the fucking fridge of all places. Like, really? At least if you throw it in the bin, you know it's done with, right? Yeah, it's gone. Fuck it. Trash goes out on Tuesday. But he put it in the fridge, bro. Every time he made a coffee, it was there.
Yeah, very much so. So to be more precise, CM Punk on January 27th in 2014,
Oh,
after a final match at the Royal Rumble. Hang on. I'm double checking myself now just to make sure. He left WWE after the Royal Rumble, citing unhappiness with the company and broken promises. No, never mind. I think Google has done me dirty there, to be quite honest. CM Punk controversially walked out of WWE and the WWE Championship on January 27th, 2014, after a final match. Yeah, and then he came back about a month and a half later or something like that.
yeah, it was something like that, and I'm pretty sure, like, if you look at his wedding day, that was when he was issued his papers to leave.
Yeah, very much so.
So that would give you the date of when the rest of his championship run end. But we digressed with that one. Messina goes on to say that, after we all ate him alive for that spinning championship, he's going to ruin wrestling for everyone by winning his 17th title at WrestleMania, and then we can all get the name of Ric Flair out of our minds, because the only name in professional wrestling that we'll need to worry about will be John Cena, because he'll be known as the greatest. And with that, he's going to retire with the championship, take it with him, and he'll be the last real champion in WWE. And he says that revenge is best served cold, and he's paying us back by ripping out our hearts while while he walks away with it, and no one can stop him. At which point, the only person who can stop him comes comes running out to the ring. It's more of a fast-paced walk with a little bit of crowd interaction on the way, but Cody Rhodes' music's hit. We get to hear from a member of the only royal family of wrestling, and he comes out and basically just asks Cena, why he thinks he's gonna be allowed to do that. And the really cheeky comment he goes, "You've come out here, you told all these people that you're going to take this title from them. You got to take it from me first." Like,
Yeah.
and that was a beautiful sort of way of wording it. Like, yeah, you coming out here making all these promises, dickhead, but I'm still walking around with the title, and we haven't even got to WrestleMania yet, so you can sit down and wind your neck in, mate.
Well, he sort of Cody Rhodes very much claims that John Cena made a big mistake by making these claims with Rhodes in the building.
Yeah, I mean, obviously these statements were made to bait Cody out into the ring, whether it was so they could have a bit of a brawl, or whether they could have an exchange of words, was yet to be seen.
I mean, I find it a little bit odd that Cody Rhodes, for all intent and purpose, is the heavyweight champion for SmackDown, yet all of their interactions between him and his challenger at WrestleMania, John Cena, are all taking place on Raw.
Well, John Cena is a Raw roster wrestler, so I'm guessing it's because it's his tour. It's all been done on Raw, which is his show.
Is he a Raw wrestler? I'm not
Cena
sure.
is Raw.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, after taking whatever it is the Rock's got to offer him, I'm pretty sure he probably is Raw. But yeah, but basically, Rhodes then goes on to call Cena vain, and then basically offers Cena out in the ring and says, "Do you know what? Why wait for WrestleMania? If you want to try and take the title off me and retire with it, fucking have at it. I'll throw down here and now, and Cena for the most part, at least for a good 1 to 2 minutes, looks to be sort of getting ready to go, and then ducks and dips.
So Cena isn't
Literally
actually
fucks.
assigned to a roster currently. It doesn't say whether he's
Oh,
SmackDown or Raw. So it just says up until the November 4th, 2023, he was SmackDown. From the 5th of November 2023 to present, it just doesn't have him listed as a roster specifically.
oh, fair enough. Um, yeah. So Cena's making his way back up the entrance ramp, heading towards the back, and Rhodes just shouts after him. It's just like Cena, and Cena pretty much turns on his heel and starts marching with purpose back towards the ring.
Which
Almost,
I
it
thought
almost.
meant we were going to get a fight. I'm not going to lie. I
I
thought we
think
were
he.
getting a fight.
I think part of the psychology here is that Cena heard himself being called out, and the thought process behind it is that he's turned on his heel almost out of instinct to go back to the ring and to have this fight, but then sort of remembers where he is, what he's doing, and like, no, I'm supposed to be heel. I'm gonna turn around and fuck off instead.
Well, that's fair enough. Do the opposite to what
And
everyone wants you to do. It's the perfect heel move.
yeah, I mean, he's very much taking. He's made claims of wanting to punish the WWE universe for all the dishonesty that they've given him over the years and everything along those lines. So he isn't going to give them anything that they want, unless he absolutely has to. So it looks like, at least for the moment, we're going to have to wait until wait for Las Vegas. Wait for Las Vegas to basically
We,
get these two in a ring together to actually do anything more than just chat shit to one another.
we don't have too long to wait, to be fair. It is less than 30 days away. So we are in the last couple of shows where everything's going to be finalised. We'll get contract signings and we'll get all the fun stuff. There might even be a bit of a rumble in the jungle at that contract signing. A little bit of a brawl.
Maybe.
But,
But yeah, Rhodes' last words on the subject was that John is going to be walking away from. John is not going to be allowed to walk away from WWE and take Rhodes' title with him. Cena will be walking out of Mania and out of WWE empty-handed.
I don't see that happening personally, but you know it's the WWE, and you never know what is going to happen with it. So I can't say
No,
that we
this
can
is
call
it.
it.
We'll be honest. I wouldn't put it past WWE storyline writers to have John Cena. Not necessarily. I don't think he'll. If they do go down the route of allowing him to retire with the title, I don't think they'll lift it off Cody at WrestleMania
No, they're not
and
going to
have
give him
Cena hold it
everything.
and hold Cena and have Cena hold it concurrently for the next 9 months or so. I just don't think that's how that's going to work, because that means that Cena's got to put in the time to be able to have that title run.
Well, he's currently filming in, I want to say Hungary, but once that show is finished, he is meant to be back full time, week in, week out. So I'm not.
I mean, he's
entirely
doing
sure.
all right so far.
Yeah, he's
We
done
had him
pretty well
last week,
around
and
in
we've had him
Europe.
this week.
Yeah, but he's in Europe. It's a couple of hours on a plane rather than 14, 18 each way back, and then
Yeah.
having to go, you know, Hungary to New York to Florida to Wisconsin to Chicago to Hungary to Washington.
Yeah,
to,
this is
a
it.
lot of air miles there. It's a lot of miles. Talking about mileage though, our next segment was a recap on Bron Breakker's war against the Judgment Day in the last few weeks, where he's had matches against Finn Balor. We've seen him have multiple attacks when it comes to Dirty Dom Mysterio, Carlito. It's been a massive war, but I say you can go through each and every one of those recaps on our previous episodes.
Yeah,
To
this
find out
VT is
what's been
basically
going on.
this VT is basically promoting VT
Main
is basically
event,
promoting the main event,
which is Bron
which
Breakker versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship.
which is a match I was really looking forward to. I will be honest, but we're going to keep you in suspense just for a little while longer, so that we can talk about the rest of Raw rather than just getting to the good bit. So,
But to be fair, this next bit was also a bit of a good bit. So we were told last week that Jey Uso would be having a match against A-Town Down Under this week in a tag match with a mystery tag partner. I did just completely fuck it for everyone. This week, we got to see the Usos reunited in a tag match as Jimmy came to help his brother Jay out in this match. Now, this is the first time we've seen the Usos in a tag match in 18 months, with just a standard tag match outside of the Bloodline stuff, and that's when they beat Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. So, yeah, but once I'd realised we were getting Usos back, my notes were reasonable, but the fan in me was just like, yeah, Usos.
so I've been a big Usos. I've been a big
video of
Usos
me
fan
eating
for
at one point.
years.
Oh yeah, no, I love watching the Usos, but this was one of those. It was like, yes, we get a little bit of nostalgia back. It's like giving me the Hardys on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, pretty much. The only other bit of research that didn't come with Monday Night Raw that I did of my own back, and there are bits of this interspersed within this episode today. I'll either take the praise or apologise now, depending on how you want to look at it. But Usos have, in total, in their career as tag team wrestlers, have won 13 tag titles in their WWE career.
Right.
It's an insane amount of titles.
That's a Hall of Fame style career tag team there, and even they know it.
100%. 100%. And they're not anywhere close to being done just yet.
Oh hell no, they're not.
But yeah, I got a few spots from this match that I really rather enjoyed. One of the earliest spots was Big Jim's hellacious chop to Grayson Waller in the corner. I mean, I felt that damn thing when it came off.
Yeah, that was a very, very powerful chop. I would not like to have received that myself. I will give you that.
No, and in fairness, Austin Theory did get his own back shortly afterwards with a huge forearm to Big Jim's face, basically.
There was a few big moves in this match that were really, really good. Like, I couldn't pick where to start, to be fair. I think if I had to, I think it would be where Grayson Waller tried to take on a sling blade on Big Jim, but Big Jim reverses it into a Samoan drop, and Grayson Waller, he hit that mat hard.
Yeah, it's that was the next one I was going to be talking about, in fairness, because we've seen Grayson Waller do this on a number of different occasions in the past, where he'll dive in from the outside through the ropes, forward roll and hit that swing blade flush. But the reversal, even commentary on Monday Night Raw, were not 100% certain about whether that was a successful move or whether it was a reversal, but it was a very subtle reversal.
Oh, and it was beautiful. beautiful as well. I mean, both of those guys played that one off. I had a little bit later on, Jay got some super kicks out of his system on both Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and tried to cover Austin Theory for a 2 count. And the one thing I did really enjoy about this match, and I really don't want to say this to be fair, was A-Town Down Under had a really sneaky sort of chemistry to them tonight. A lot of sneaky hidden tags that the referee didn't see. So but commentary did and we did. That meant that the guy in the ring that was doing a lot of the wrestling wasn't actually the active wrestler for that team. So the other guy was getting some really good cheap shots in the active wrestler that wasn't actually wrestling.
Yeah, very much so.
I just thought it was really cool the way that A-Town Down Under were doing that. I was quite impressed, I'm not going to lie.
I think it did really well to protect A-Town Down Under as a tag team. I mean, they don't have much of a reputation other than being cannon fodder anyway, but it helped them attain a level of what's the word I'm looking for? It helped them attain a level of credibility.
Yes. I mean, to be fair, Grayson Waller's got a lot of credibility. It's Austin Theory that holds back A-Town Down Under. Personally.
You think?
Yeah. Well, Austin Theory got a really, really big push, and then they've just shit on him. Like, he's done nothing since Hunter came into WWE, really. Like, in charge. But Grayson Waller, I think, is probably the better one of the two. It's more charismatic. Austin Theory's a bit boring. For me, personally.
See, I'm not a huge fan of either of them. I respect what they've achieved and all the rest of it, but yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of either of them. So never really sort of paid that much attention unless they're actively sort of put in front of me.
It might feel like a bit of a stretch on the comparison, but to me they compare a little bit to Enzo and Big Cass. They are brilliant. They're all right together, but you split them up and neither of them can do nothing.
Oh yeah, no, what they produce apart is a weak imitation of anything, realistically. But Uso secure the win with some really super like silky smooth double team moves to secure the victory in the end. And
as they were celebrating up on the turnbuckle, we got to see our favourite interruptee. When it comes to Jey Uso at the moment, Gunther pulls Jim off the top rope and then jumps in and starts trying to get funky with Jey. But
I mean, Jey does hold his own to begin with, but
he does need a bit of help from Big Brother at the end.
Yeah, this is it. Jimmy does end up coming in with the chair and sort of chasing Gunther off a little bit like a scolded cat.
Who'd have thought Gunther would be afraid of a steel chair? I mean, this guy portrays himself as the maximum professional. Well, any professional knows how to take a chair shot properly, surely.
No, he knows how to take one. He just doesn't want to take it.
I suppose they
and
still
in fairness, I was going to say I can't say I blame him. It's not going to be fun by any measure.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. So yeah, Gunther does one, and we end up going backstage into Judgment Day's little hidey hole for the week. Adam, did you spot any cool little bits in Judgment Day's hidey hole that we need to know about this week?
Nope. Nothing.
Oh, I thought they might have had a little tidbit for us. No, I didn't. But I know you're pretty good at picking up the smaller details. I thought you might have had a tidbit of information for us today.
No, I'll be honest. I felt a little bit against the crunch this week, so some of the background details might have escaped me, I'm afraid. But yeah, we come to a backstage promo where Liv and Raquel are discussing Raquel's match later on in the card, which is for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Which yeah, it comes in a very little bit. They are then joined by Dom and Carlito, where it's revealed that Dom's had a chat earlier in the evening with Finn, which apparently didn't go well.
Any
Apparently, Finn's still
conversation
hurt.
between Finn and Dom at the moment isn't going well.
No, I think Finn's still smarting from yeah, basically not being able to secure a victory over Bron Breakker last week.
Well, yeah, and to be fair, I mean, he wasn't all over Bron Breakker, but he had a very, very good chance compared to some of the other people we've seen Bron defend his title against up until Dom and Carlito got involved.
Yeah, this is it. And Liv's basically there giving Dom a pep talk. I love the fact that Carlito makes I think it was a semi-serious suggestion that he goes and challenges for the IC title.
I did find
Now,
that funny. Even though
the
he's
last
already
time
said in interviews outside of that he can't do any of the stuff he used to do anymore. He is literally just there to take a bump and make everyone else look good. The fact that he thinks he's got a chance at the IC title's brilliant.
well, in fairness, Carlito has had one run with the IC title before, back in 2005. He defeated Shelton Benjamin for the IC title. He then had a run with that for 90 days, where he ends up losing it then to Ric Flair.
Let me guess, Ric Flair had been off injured, came back and wanted a title. Oh no, sorry, that's Charlotte.
Didn't look that deep into it, but yeah, Liv's pep talk basically ends up telling Dom to trust his instincts and continue trying to recruit Penta, which is who the Judgment Day, well, some of the Judgment Day have had their eye on to recruit into their ranks, sort of thing. It'll be interesting to see how, when he eventually returns, JD McDonough ends up sort of figuring into all of this, because it's been a very long. It feels like it's been a very long time since the last time we saw Mr. McDonough. Obviously, off with
Last time we saw JD McDonough, we saw him giving himself a punctured lung and some fractured ribs off the announce table when he. Well, I thought he'd snapped his neck and ripped his head off and shit down his own neck. But yeah, Jesus, he got a little bit too close to God that day.
Oh, 100%. I think he saw the big guy, most likely.
Yeah, they've been calling him Icarus in the locker room for a while because he flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, very much, very much. We then went from that backstage promo into a VT promo, which I'm going to be honest, I wasn't sure what to make of this to begin with until I realised what it was.
This was the cheesiest Lucha Libre history VT in the world. So it was basically saying that Lucha Libre had some quality guys in its history. It mentioned Blue Demon, the Guerrero family. But it also said that one star shines brighter than all of them, and that was El Grande Americano from the Gulf of America. And he rose basically up through the ranks to become a top face of Lucha Libre. But he got blackballed by his enemies and disappeared, and now he's back to bring honor and to the Lucha style again. And
I mean,
this was a bit
we know at this
fucking weird.
we know at this point El Grande Americano is Chad Gable in a costume, right? We surely got to know this.
I think we're being pushed in a direction where we're being told that's who we need to think it is. But I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that it could be that isn't Chad Gable. I know it's not Aleister Black because Aleister Black has an awful lot of tattoos, and El Grande Americano has fuck all in the way of tattoo line.
Yeah, Alistair Black also has about 3/4 of a foot on Chad Gable. So,
Oh yes.
and yeah, but yeah, that's I'm very much sort of believing what WWE are feeding us at the moment. That is the El Grande Americano is Chad Gable basically. Um,
What, the guy
but
that we saw last week backstage wasn't the real El Grande
yeah,
Americano.
but
It was just a stitch up to shut up the interviewer.
I think so.
That's a good
I
show.
think so. Now we transition from this VT into the GM's office where Adam Pearce is sort of watching that vignette with Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, who are quite literally just stood there like, what the fuck is that?
They must be insulted by that vignette. That was terrible.
Well, yeah, it's. I mean, Rey Mysterio, one of, if not the most famous lucha libre professional in the industry today, um, is stood there basically watching a vignette that says that there's somebody that is basically a lucha god, but nobody's ever heard of him.
Right? A bit like Chad Gable.
Yeah.
Outside of
Um,
WWE, no one's got a fucking clue who Chad Gable is.
well, speaking of Chad Gable, he then comes in to basically corroborate to say that, yeah, El Grande Americano is not just a large cup of black coffee. It's a he is the one of the greatest lucha libre stars in the world, and
Such a bad joke. Why
yeah,
did I not see that? El Grande Americano. Yeah, fucking large black coffee.
it's something that I've only just twigged. In fairness, it was something I was just sat thinking. I was like, where have I heard that phrase before?
Bearing in mind, we've
Um,
both worked in front of house for hospitality businesses. We should have known what a Grande Americano is. For fuck's sake.
at the point that we're recording this, in fairness, I've only finished watching it about an hour. I only finished watching Raw maybe
Yeah.
an hour and a half ago. So yeah, this is all still sort of ruminating in my head. But yeah, El Grande Americano, large black, large black coffee. Oh, that is some Vince McMahon level bullshit. That is.
Oh, that is brilliant.
Anyway, speaking of Chad Gable, he comes in, corroborates it, um, and also hands a doctor's note to Adam Pearce, excusing him from his match as he should have been competing against Dragon Lee later on in the card. Basically says that he's got too much of the sniffles to work, um, which is a pretty weak excuse, really. Now, there was one bit in the one bit right at the very end of this promo that I feel like there was some significance to it, but I just don't know what it is. Um,
Well, talk us through
Adam
it,
Pierce
lads.
Adam Pierce turns to Chad Gable about this doctor's note, and he's already verified it's legit. But he mentions the doctor's name,
Right.
and the doctor's name was Doctor Snow.
What,
Now,
as
I
in
feel
Al
like there's
Snow?
some significance to that name, and I'm not sure if I'm right.
Right. Well, what's your theory?
I don't have a theory. I'm genuinely clueless as to. It feels like it is. It feels like it's. Uh, it means more than it
Okay.
probably does, but maybe that's me. I'm looking for something where there isn't anything.
Well, if it had said
Um,
Doctor Thugonomics on it, we could have had a theory then. But nope.
yeah. Um,
If only Cena was the masked luchador, that would be quality. But yeah, no, I digress with that one. Before we digress too far, we'll move into our next segment, which was actually match number 2 of the evening.
Yes, second match of the evening was the women's Intercontinental title match, which sees Lyra Valkyria defending her title against Raquel Rodriguez,
Of the Judgment
joined at
Day.
ringside. Yeah, joined at ringside by her tag team partner Liv Morgan.
We also got a little bit of a promotional VT here for the fact that WWE is in Tampa Bay for Memorial Day weekend in May, letting us know which dates and which programs are where in Tampa. So if you're living in Florida and near Tampa and off to one of those shows, then send us an email. Let us know how excited you are.
Let us know how much the tickets cost.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be in comparison for something like that compared to the extortionate price of 2 kidneys they wanted for 2 tickets over here.
Yeah, true that. But yeah, this match, did this not feel a little bit reminiscent of the Piper Niven Zelina Vega match on Friday Night SmackDown just gone?
Yes, because Raquel Rodriguez ragdolled Lyra Valkyria for pretty much the entire goddamn match. But unlike the Piper Niven match the other night, Lyra Valkyria did not get a nose full of Raquel Rodriguez ring piece.
No, she didn't, but she
No
did
chocolate
get a
starfish.
chest. She did get a chest full of Raquel Rodriguez's boot.
She did. She ate that boot hard. That was a hell
Mate,
of a boot as well.
I've seen shotguns in video games with less stopping power than that boot that was delivered to Lyra Valkyria. I mean, she stopped dead.
Yeah, you definitely know that Raquel Rodriguez uses marathon and stopping power in her loadouts on Warzone. Because she absolutely stopped Valkyria a few times, and it did not seem to matter what Lyra did to try and drop her down a peg or two, or what direction she came at her from, or what style she came at her with. Raquel Rodriguez had Lyra Valkyria's number this evening. Like, all through this
Yeah,
match, Raquel Rodriguez
I mean,
was in charge.
pretty much. There wasn't many, but there were a few spots where Lyra did seem to have the upper hand, but it didn't seem to last very long. I mean, Lyra did manage to send Raquel Rodriguez careening into the announce desk with a Hurricane Rana, which I actually quite enjoyed, to the point that I think I may have rewound it 2 or 3 times to watch it back. Um,
Sounds like you.
the I've also got Valkyria had a massive leg drop onto the back of the neck of Rodriguez at one point.
Oh yeah,
It was one of the spots I picked up on.
yeah. No, that leg drop was fantastic. I had the wasn't a spot; it was more of a fact. This was the Raquel Rodriguez's first time going for a singles championship. And if she was to win this match, she'd be the second ever women's intercontinental title holder. So Raquel Rodriguez hits a corkscrew elbow for a 2 count at one point. I don't know how she does it. She's a big girl, but she pulls off some really interesting moves. And that corkscrew elbow was really, really nice.
Yeah, I mean there were solid wrestling during this match. Not gonna lie. I mean even from Laura Valkyria, who was obviously at a disadvantage here, based on size and strength of Raquel Rodriguez going into this match. But yeah, I mean still manages to pull off some big moves. I've got the Liv Morgan at one point interferes, hooking Rodriguez's leg on the bottom rope after an absolutely astounding DDT from Lyra Valkyria, but only obviously ends in a 2 count for it. And yeah, the only other bit that I've got for this match within the match itself is that Valkyria does end up retaining her championship after
Yep.
countering a Tahuna bomb with a small package pin, which I know you're not normally a fan of the sneaking pins and things like that, but was this something to change your opinion or
I
still
quite
not a
enjoyed
fan?
this one purely for the fact that I really like Lyra Valkyria, but yeah, no,
Fair enough.
it worked for me today. We'll let them have it. Well done,
Uh,
WWE. You haven't abused it too much this week so far.
speaking of abused, like but Lyra Valkyria, I think after the match's end, ends up getting royally abused by Liv and Raquel, who very much seem to take their frustrations out on poor Lyra Valkyria in the ring after the bell goes, sort of thing.
Yeah, they beat the absolute shit out of her.
That was until, of course, we had Big Booty Bailey come out, or as Rich pointed out to me before I had a chance to watch it, it's Big Boobies Bailey. And yeah, she comes running out to Lyra's aid, and
With
we did
quite a
actually
big pop
spot
as
in
well.
quite a big top. Was that?
Pop.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, quite a big pop from the crowd. Not a big pop in her top.
I mean,
You're a dick.
it could have been. Anyway, so yeah, Bailey comes out and evens the odds against Liv and Raquel. And the minute that Liv and Raquel sort of lose their advantage, they again run off like like a couple of chastised children, basically. Where we go from that match into a VT promo, which sees a Raw recap from. It starts off 2 weeks previous and then sort of jumps forward halfway through. Basically, recapping the run up with Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. Obviously, Rhea
Yeah,
Ripley lost her women's title to Io Sky in a
Bianca
match on.
Belair at ringside.
Yeah, and Bianca Belair won Elimination Chamber, which gives her a match opportunity at WrestleMania against the women's title holder, which at the moment is Io Sky.
Yeah,
And Rhea Ripley is not happy at the fact that she lost her title to Io Sky, um, because she feels that Bianca Belair interfered in the match.
yeah, and it was all a little bit. Bianca basically, yeah, she didn't interfere, but she distracted Rhea, which gave Io an opportunity to counter the move that she was popping for a 3 count. So Rhea's pissed at the fact that Bianca was there and she was stupid enough to let Io get the better of her. Io's pissed because they keep both putting their hands in her face whenever she's trying to say something, and she feels that as the women's champion, she should be respected more. I mean, to be fair, last week she did manage to lay off 2 incredible slaps on both Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair in the middle of the ring. It might have been the week before, actually. But yeah,
Well,
she hit them
the
both
reason
very
that
hard.
the reason that we bought that this is brought to our attention at a contract signing last week, we saw Rhea Ripley sign her name on the WrestleMania contract, as if that sort of basically as if that means something, as if that means that she's then in the match. Which I think in the past we've seen other people do this, and it does end up with them being involved in the match itself.
Yes.
But we're being told that Adam Pearce is going to come out to the ring, clarify the position that WWE are taking on this specific incident for it. and that's coming up very, very, very soon. However,
Yes.
we've got another promo to get to before this happens, and I've got to admit, out of all the promos they did within this week's Raw, this one was probably one of my favourites.
I can probably guess why, but I'm not going to spoil it for you, Adam. If this was your favourite promo, crack in, tell me about it.
So we see this promo involves Jimmy and Jay basically having a bit of a heart-to-heart in somewhere backstage, where obviously we've seen over the last few weeks Jay has been getting jumped by Gunther at pretty much every opportunity Gunther can possibly make for himself, and it's causing Jay to have a real sort of like confidence crisis, which for somebody like WrestleMania main event Jey Uso to have a crisis of confidence is pretty much catastrophic for him. And basically Jimmy's there saying, look, at this point you're not going to win that match at WrestleMania because this version of Jay isn't going to win fuck all. We need the enforcer Jay. We need the one that became main event when he first donned that name of main event Jey Uso.
Right.
We need that Jay back.
Yes, we do.
That Jay can win at WrestleMania. This Jay is going to have his ass handed to him by an Austrian with a freaking belt.
Yes. I thought you were going somewhere completely different then. I was like, no, Adam, please, not that way. Let's not kill it that way.
No, I'm not. I'm not here to bury anyone. But yeah, and after this, after this little pep talk, where basically Jimmy's telling his brother, "Get your fucking act together, pull your head out your ass." He must have spotted Gunther walk past the stairwell where they were as he literally rounds the corner on Gunther to basically say, right, you and me next week, you've been bullying my brother, I'm gonna fucking have you. And Gunther accepts but warns him not to slip like his brother did, which is actually something I don't think we covered from that original match in the commentary we gave. So, to give it a little bit more context around that, at one point towards the end of the attack from Gunther, Gunther is in a vulnerable position. We've got Jay in the corner getting ready to hit the best spear of his life when Jay ends up, his feet just fall from under him, which is a huge mistake you'd never expect anybody in WWE to make, let alone somebody as experienced as Jey Uso.
Right. Big J is, he's been, yeah, I mean, him and Jim have been doing it for a long time. Slips like that is something they'd have got rid of 10, 15 years ago. That's a mistake professionals don't make.
They'd have got rid of something like that before they even made it into WWE, realistically.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Gunther basically warns him not to slip like his brother did. And when I tell you that Big Jim slaps the fucking taste out of Gunther's mouth, like I'm pretty sure I saw every last taste bud that Gunther has within his mouth fly out from between his lips with that friggin' slap.
I mean, if that wasn't the case, if Gunther ate chicken and it tasted like chicken before the slap, if he ate chicken afterwards, it'd be tasting like prawns. That's how much his mouth was rearranged by the slap that Big Jim put on him.
I'm well expecting that when next week rolls around, Gunther's going to turn up to Raw with a Big Jim handprint on the side of his face from that freaking slap.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Especially
yes,
the
100%.
downfall of Gunther start with Jimmy Uso.
It very well could do. I mean, we've seen Gunther struggling more and more week in, week out to pull off these sneak attacks. Now, whether that's just because Jay is expecting it more and knowing how to counter it, or whether Gunther is just losing his edge. but I'm sticking with my initial prediction: Jey Uso to win at WrestleMania.
Oh, you've got Jay to win. You've got Jay to win. Ooh. Yeah, so I'm not even sure what I want to do in that situation at the moment. I'm definitely not putting any money on it. It's too close to call. I think that will be match of the night by any stretch of the imagination. No matter which way it goes, it'll be match of the night. I think
Yeah,
both
very much
Gunther
so.
and Jay are going to put on a show of shows at the show of shows.
Yeah, very much so. Um, but we're going to cut back to in ring at this point, as we have Adam Pearce stood in the middle of the ring, not somewhere we see him very often, but it seems to be happening more and more regularly. And he's basically come out to clarify if Rhea Ripley has managed to insert herself in the match, or whether she has, whether it's all been for naught, basically. Um, so basically, Adam Pearce comes out to basically say, Rhea Ripley, the fact that you've signed this contract means absolutely sweet FA, because you're not in the match. It doesn't get you anything, and you're not getting anything. It's a case that Adam Pearce has been trying to pin her down for her contracted rematch from when she lost her title initially. And she's been evading, not wanting to sort of commit or anything along those lines. And yeah, um, this is when we see Io Sky come out, and yeah, I don't think this was invited nor expected by Adam Pearce, as he seems to get a touch irate at the fact that he's been interrupted. And Io Sky basically comes out to say, do you know what? I don't care who I have to take on. I'll take them both on at the same time at WrestleMania. I really don't care. I'll take Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley on, and yeah, because I'm the women's champion. Um, and Adam Pearce basically tries to set the record straight with Io, gets about maybe 1.5 to 2 words out when Bianca Belair's music hits. More frustration from Adam Pearce.
He's
And
pissed at
she
this
coming,
point as well, isn't he?
oh, 100%. I mean, Adam Pearce is not normally the one we see to lose their cool. And we well and truly have lost. He's off the deep end at this point. But Bianca Belair comes out, her music hits. She comes out and basically says, "No, my elimination chamber tells me, or my elimination chamber win
Puts me at number
tells
one
me
contender.
puts me
Yes,
at
you
the
have
number one
a
contender."
rematch, but I'm first. You've waited 3 weeks. Wait another 3 weeks, and you can face me instead.
And yeah, so she comes out, says, "My elimination chamber win entitles me to a one-on-one match with the champion that wasn't selected by the Royal Rumble winner." Adding another person in is completely unfair. Even though, again, this has been done in the past. But again, Adam Pearce goes to set the record straight with Bianca Belair and Io Sky for Rhea Ripley's music to hit as well. And yeah, this is like
Even
the
more
straw
pissed
that
off.
broke the camel's back. It's the straw that broke the camel's back at the end of the day. Um,
You can
and
now understand why Adam Pearce has the haircut he has, because with this
oh,
women's division,
100%.
he would have tore it all out.
Yeah, very much so. And I mean, Rhea Ripley, Mami comes out basically just to say, do you know what? I just want my title back. I don't care what I've got to do it. Book the match, whatever match it is that I need, and I just want to be able to get my title back.
She
Um,
doesn't care if it's WrestleMania or next week. She wants her title back.
yeah, pretty much. And Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley get into a back and forth, which we've started to see over the last few weeks. They really get sort of zeroed in on one another. And last week it was Bianca Belair that put her hands on the women's champion, Io Sky. This week, it was Rhea Ripley who got her hand, put it in Io's face, and properly mugged her off. And that was it. That was the. That was very much the straw that broke the camel's back.
The match in
Well and
in the
truly.
powder keg, that blew the entire situation well up and out of proportion.
Well, it blew Adam Pearce up because he basically well and truly loses his shit. It's like, right, I've had enough. Seriously, Rhea and Io title bout next week as Rhea's contracted rematch, and the winner of that goes on to face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, and he leaves the ring incensed. He's furious at this point. And a brawl between Bianca, Rhea, and Io erupts in the match where, yeah, it's they're all at each other's necks. And in the end, once all the sort of dust settles, Bianca Belair is the one who's left in the ring, standing on her own 2 feet.
With the title in her hand.
It's just complete and utter freaking chaos at this point. Now, we go from in-ring to backstage, where we see Penta preparing for the main event, as Dom basically comes along, obviously inspired by his chat with Liv earlier on, following his instinct, and basically says, basically makes an offer that Judgment Day, if he joins the Judgment Day, they'll help him win tonight, sort of thing.
Well, I mean, that's definitely a signing on for, isn't it? Join the
100%.
Judgment Day and get the Intercontinental title. That's definitely that's a hell of a check. That I'm surprised Dom had the authority to write that sort of check. Well, his mouth,
I think Dom
mouth
was
wrote
giving
his ass can't cash it.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I mean, that was a very short promo in of itself. We then went to a not too. It's a familiar segment, but not one that we get very regularly. And this is WWE facts from the city that we're in at the moment, which obviously we've mentioned, Glasgow, Scotland. This was the second time Raw had been broadcast from Glasgow. First time for Netflix. It's the 13th TV broadcast from Glasgow. The last broadcast from Glasgow was on the 8th of November 2016. I've got down here, and it was an episode of SmackDown Live.
I didn't look that far into that. I'm not going to lie.
Oh no, I went a step further. The main event from that SmackDown was a 6-man tag team match, and this saw Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, and Luke Harper versus Dean Ambrose, Kane, and a name that you may well remember, James Ellsworth.
Oh, the Chinless Wonder.
The Chinless Wonder. Yeah, it was and it was Orton, Wyatt, and Harper that ended up going on to win that match. Now this was when Orton was in sort of indentured servitude to the Wyatt family at this point. But the sombering fact that I find in that is, out of the 3 men that won that match, only one of them is still alive.
Randy Orton.
And that is a really sad thing to think about, that it wasn't that long ago.
Nope.
I mean, 9 years ago, give or take.
Right.
9 years ago, and only one of those men is still alive. Obviously, we lost Bray Wyatt recently. Luke Harper went on the 26th of December in 2020, I believe. So he's been gone coming up to 4.5 years.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's
Because Luke Harper was known as Brody Lee in AEW, and he was actively wrestling for AEW when he passed away at home with family.
Shock to the wrestling world. That was the same as when Bray Wyatt passed as well. Hell of a shock
Yeah.
to the wrestling world.
Shock that's still felt to this day, especially with the likes of Bray Wyatt more so.
Yeah, definitely. He knew them all, didn't
He did. He did. Anyway, turning things around, we went into a War Raiders vignette at that point.
we did, yes. Showing them destroying every tag team in the division.
Yeah, and I mean, they are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. We don't see them compete nearly as often as maybe the SmackDown Tag Team titles are defended, but they are still Raw's Tag Team Champions. And after that vignette, we switch to backstage where we can very obviously see the stress is really getting to Adam Pearce as he has Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods come in and demand a tag title match at WrestleMania. To which Adam Pearce basically comes back and says, "Do you know what? Most people would have come in and said that I want an opportunity to compete for a match at WrestleMania. You've come in and demanded it. So the answer is no until you can come back and tell me that you want to compete in a match next week for a chance to go to WrestleMania in a tag team match." And
You got to earn
yeah,
it.
they're basically told to go fuck themselves. Um,
I
and
mean, can you blame
it
them?
doesn't stop. No, definitely not. Um, and it doesn't stop there. Because the next person in is Bianca Belair, who comes in and again, it's this word. She demands to know who her opponent is at WrestleMania, and considering Bianca Belair is part of the reason for Adam Pearce's stress, I can sort of understand why the guy sees red, and basically says, "Do you know what?
Fuck off.
Your opponent at WrestleMania is whoever wins out of next week's match between Rhea and Io, and I'm adding a stipulation to it that you're going to be the special guest referee."
That's going to screw both Io and Rhea over the same as well.
Well, it actually turns out that Bianca Belair has absolutely no clue, by her own admission, how to be a referee. So she's got a week to learn.
Oh, that's going to be an interesting one.
And it actually makes a lot of sense for I've seen a social media post of Bianca basically begging one of the referees, I'm guessing, to teach her how to be a referee. But now that makes sense. When at the time when I saw it, it really didn't.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think we're definitely going to have to wait and see how that one goes down with that match next week. Right, and here we will jump in to match 3 of the evening. This one was a men's singles match between Dragon Lee and El Grande Americano, or the large black coffee, as that translates to, with the new member of OWO. This is fucked up.
Not it's not LWO.
It's
That's
not.
the thing. Is
It's not.
I can't even think what the group's called because I'm too busy laughing at the fact that yeah. I mean, I wasn't particularly enamored by this match. The ending, 100%. Loved that. I loved how they ended it. It wasn't great. It wasn't like a showstopper or anything like that, but it was a really interesting match. But what we got was actually a really competitive match between the two. Um, Now, for anybody just coming into this storyline, Chad Gable of American Made has has recently come back from a pilgrimage to learn the ways of lucha. Seems to struggle, or has struggled, with the wrestling style in the past. And since he's come back, he seems to have brought back with him who we now know as El Grande Americano. There are quite a few people, myself included,
I believe
who
this is
are.
Chad Gable in cosplay. And there are a
Yeah.
few mitigating factors that would suggest it. They are a similar height, build, skin tone. They both like to do the German suplex in slow motion. It's yeah, there's a few different hints and clues there. But Chad Gable is adamant that he is not the large black coffee. He is Chad Gable, not El Grande Americano. And I'm not going to be able to get over that. Someone
No,
in the
I'm not going to be
WWE
able to.
office is taking the piss with that one. That is fucking brilliant.
As I said, I'm pretty sure I said this before, but if I haven't, it is some Vince McMahon level bullshittery that we've ended up with a wrestler's name that basically translates into large black coffee. Yeah, just. But a few nice little bits here. I mean, El Grande German suplexes Dragon Lee off the apron at one stage, which actually I wasn't expecting. But again, it gives us that definite thought that it's Chad Gable, as we've again got something that he's quite proficient at using, the German suplex.
Yeah, it's basically his go-to move. Everything in this about this lucha screams Chad Gable. They just need. I want to see this guy have a match against Chad Gable, just to prove it's not Chad Gable.
But we all know that's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, this is WWE. We're not going to get things we want. What do you think's going on here?
No, John Cena's gone heel. We're not getting anything we want. But yeah, we have a point in the match where both superstars literally narrowly, and I'm narrowly avoid a double count out. They literally get to about 9 3/4 and manage to dive back into the ring.
Nice little bit of tension builder.
Yeah, it was some added flavour that this match seriously lacked otherwise. But as I said, the really interesting part about this match for me was the ending, and by that I mean El Grande manages to demask Dragon Lee, which ironically is something that Dragon Lee tried doing to El Grande earlier on in the match.
But El Grande Americano was slightly more successful in ripping Dragon Lee's mask off. Yeah, so Dragon Lee sat on the top turnbuckle, and El Grande Americano grabs his mask and pulls him forward. So he ends up kind of like, as the mask comes off, he ends up front flipping down onto his stomach, pretty much, trying to hide his face. El Grande Americano goes for an ankle lock, where we've only ever seen two people try that submission move more than once. And
Well, I disagree. I disagree with Michael Cole on that, because that's where we got that information from. He says there were only two people that ever use it, and he said it's Kurt Angle and Chad Gable.
Yes.
Whereas Jack Swagger also used the ankle lock, as did Michael Cole himself, which he does later admit to. So there are lots of people that use the ankle lock, but...
Well, we know the Masked Luchador isn't Jack Swagger because he's currently in AEW still, I believe, under a different name. Michael Cole was on commentary, so it certainly wasn't him. And,
no, the person in the mask wasn't overweight enough.
No, exactly.
But yeah, so I disagree with Michael Cole's analysis on that one, but then again, I tend to disagree with Michael Cole quite a lot generally.
I feel we have to fact check Michael Cole quite a lot because he's a rather poor source of information.
He can be.
He did once tell us there was a PLE that had held six. There was a city that had held 6 PLEs, and for days, me and Adam could only find 5.
No, I think we did actually manage to find 6 in the end.
Did we cover all 6? God damn it! I just
Yeah,
made myself look like a
didn't
muppet.
we didn't take into when we tried going through it, we didn't take into consideration uh, NXT PLEs. We were looking at main roster PLEs, but when we took into consideration the NXT ones, we did manage to find all 6.
Fair enough.
Yes. But yes, digressing away. Yeah, so in this character's WWE debut, he walks out of it with a win over a rather disgraced Dragon Lee, as any lucha fan worth their salt knows that you don't remove the mask.
No, and Rey Mysterio got into a lot of trouble with it when he was in AAA Lucha, because he got demasked, or he took his mask off, and he had to get permission from the Lucha authorities to be able to reuse a mask when he went to WWE under a different name.
Oh, right.
He used to wrestle as Rey Mysterio Senior, or Junior, whichever one he is. And then when he moved to WWE, he lost the bit on the end, because in one of the matches he'd had at Lucha Libre, he ended up taking his mask off or unmasking himself, and to be able to reuse the mask, he had to have permission. But some people still don't agree with Rey using a mask again. You basically have to change the character. If you unmask the character, you can't keep that character. You have to have the same, like a different Lucha character.
Oh, okay.
That's what watching Chris Van Vliet gets you.
I watch a lot of the stuff that he puts out on social media, but yeah, even I was in the dark on that one. So
He did an interview with Rey Mysterio, and I love Rey Mysterio. I think he's brilliant. I've watched some of his indie stuff as well when he wasn't working with WWE. Rey Mysterio had a match against Will Ospreay, who is now AEW talent at the Pro Wrestling World Cup, and it was an absolutely phenomenal match. Like, if you get an opportunity to watch it, just on YouTube, Will Ospreay, Rey Mysterio, Pro Wrestling World Cup. I think it was like maybe 2017, or sort of like between 2017 and COVID. But it was amazing. One of the best indie matches I've ever watched on YouTube.
fair enough. But yeah, moving on from Dragon Lee and
We're starting to get
Grande
to the meat and
Americano.
veg of our storylines with this next segment. This next segment is a recap / promo from the storyline between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. So, as we've seen recently, there has been quite a lot of animosity between the three. It tends to be a lot more between Roman and Seth, but Punk's been dragged in because of Seth's hatred with of Punk, and the fact Punk wants Roman's wise man, and Roman's wise man owes CM Punk a favour. So we get a recap on what's happened so far. So the eliminations from Royal Rumble, the kickoff after they were all eliminated from Royal Rumble between the three of them on the outside, the bits at Elimination Chamber between Rollins and Punk, and then when Roman returned, when Rollins and Punk were in a cage match, and Roman basically was like, I've been screwed by Seth enough times, so I was coming out here to screw him, and I've been screwed by Punk enough times, so I was coming out here to screw him too. And like we had this conversation a little bit earlier on in the episode, and we've had it more like a few times in the previous episodes. The Roman Reigns pop when they talk about him is incredible. When you see him, it's even more incredible. For someone that was pushed so much down our throats for a few years that we were so sick of seeing Roman, I think that break we've had between, especially at the end of the Bloodline stuff, between sort of WrestleMania last year and then when he returned, and then the stuff with Solo and those guys, and then he's had a bit of a break, and it's been nice. It's nice to see Roman coming back after a break, where beforehand it was like, fuck's sake, just send him on holiday for a few weeks. No one wants to see him.
Yeah, there are always those die-hard fans of Roman Reigns who think the guy walks on water. I will be honest, I do think he's he's played a good part over the last few years with tribal chief stuff and everything along those lines. Really enjoyed all majority of the bloodline stuff, but yes, it did get to a point at one stage where we were seeing him way too often. He never changed things up. He never did anything any differently. He just kept rolling out. He found something that worked and kept going back to the well. And for me, it just got really old really quickly. So I am a Roman Reigns fan in moderation. I'm
Yes.
not ever going to sit here and call myself a die-hard fan that would simply watch 2 hours of Roman Reigns in a ring because that's fucking boring.
I mean, I'd watch 2 hours of Roman Reigns in ring, but in the ring with a microphone, you can fuck right off.
See, there's a part of me that doesn't think. Again, I go back to my original statement. I think Roman Reigns is overrated to a certain point. I don't think he's as good as everybody makes him out to be, even in ring.
I mean, I'll watch him in ring purely for the fact that he's an entertaining entertainer.
Yes.
But, you know, if someone said to me 2 hours of Roman Reigns or 2 hours of CM Punk or 2 hours of the Hardys or, you know, like whoever, Roman would be very much bottom of my list if I had to watch 2 hours of constant wrestling from someone.
Yeah.
Shit. I'd rather watch 2 hours of Bad News Wade Barrett.
But yes, we go from like the recap of last week and everything to do with what's going on, and we have actually CM Punk in ring for a promo completely on his own.
Well, this isn't really a promo. This is just more of an extended pipe bomb. I remember watching this and then messaging Adam, who was a little bit behind me, just going, pipe bomb incoming. Because I knew he'd look at it and go, oh, okay. I know where he is. So when he got to that bit, he knew to be excited. And it was, I don't know if it worked, but I thought it was a great little promo he cut. Especially with
100%.
when he comes to the ring and he gets a hell of a pop, right? Punk is one of those wrestlers that when he comes out, whether you love Punk or hate Punk, he gets the noise. And he comes out to a hell of a good sort of standing, considering a lot of people dislike what he's done for professional wrestling. And he comes out and says he's in a bit of a bad mood, but it's not because of where he is or why he's there. He's just tired, he's jet lagged, he's uncertain of his road to WrestleMania, and he isn't getting what he wants. Or is he? You know, like he knows he's got that favour from Paul Heyman. We know he's still got that favour from Paul Heyman. I want to know what that favour from Paul Heyman is going to be, like everyone else does. And I don't think we're going to find out until after their match at WrestleMania.
No, definitely not. I don't think
I
it's.
think we'll get the match and then we'll get the favour, rather than the favour before the match.
It's not going to be something that Punk calls in on a whim, sort of thing. I am going to backtrack slightly. Nothing to do with the actual promo, but more so to do with the fact that you said to obviously you said a few minutes ago that yes, I was about 20 minutes behind you in terms of watching Raw this week. And you sent me a message saying pie bomb incoming.
Pie bomb.
Which
that explains how yesterday went.
So yeah, you didn't say pie. I now know what it's trying to say, but at the time I just got a message going pie bomb incoming. I was like, is this motherfucker sending me pie?
Yeah, no.
As long as he's not sending me strudel.
No, I'd had some pie, but yeah, it's actually the same flavour that both Kane and Undertaker like. You know?
Oh, right. But yeah, it's a case that we've now had it confirmed that the triple threat between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk is officially happening at WrestleMania. Punk actually makes a comment on the graphic that they use for it. I mean, it's a very good looking graphic. I'll give them that. It's very understated. It's not big. It's not flashy. It's understated.
Which is what that match is. That match isn't going to be big and flashy. It's going to be all sort of like cheap shots and low blows and dirty maneuvers. That match is a match that's going to be won on on cheating.
Yeah, pretty much.
Especially when the
Punk
second
makes an
City Saint comes out on top.
Punk makes an interesting reference to Seth Rollins, calling him the world heavyweight champion of being a pissy diaper baby,
Yep.
or some sort of words to that effect.
Oh no, you pretty much got that word for word.
Oh right, okay. I wasn't 100% sure if I had or not.
He was a black belt at being a pissy diaper baby.
And yeah, makes a bit of a tongue-in-cheek comment about the fact that Roman's wise man is not just his wise man.
Well, Punk goes on to say that for the other two people in this match, it's personal. They have a personal vendetta against each other and they have had 4 years since Seth stuck the chair in the middle of Roman's back when they were all part of the Shield. So for those two, it is personal. But Punk says for him, it's business. You know, he's there because he needs to be there. But he knows that it starts getting a little bit confusing between, like, towards the end with my notes because my spelling at this point went to absolute crap. But he does basically say that next week in London we have a contract signing for this match at WrestleMania, and Punk's going to make sure that he reads all the fine print to see if he's getting what he wants or if the rug is being pulled out from underneath him yet again. Because obviously CM Punk and WrestleMania appearances never quite work out the way they're supposed to with CM Punk.
No. And to close out this segment, Punk makes two final points. One of them is that he sort of reiterates that neither one of his two WrestleMania opponents have ever beaten him without the help from the other. And makes a point of saying that he brought them both into WWE, and it seems only fitting that he take both out of WWE.
I mean, I do not think that they are going anywhere specifically if Punk wins. You know, you're not going to see Seth Rollins pack his bag and go to AEW. And you'll certainly never see Roman's a WWE guy. You won't ever see him go anywhere either. He might end up doing what The Rock does and disappears for 6 months and then comes back and goes, finally, the original tribal chief is back in wherever he is. You know, but neither of them are going anywhere specifically. They're both definitely WWE guys.
Yeah.
And there's rumours going that Seth's only got a few more years left in him. Apparently, he stated that he's retiring when he's 45 and he's only 39. So we've only got another 6 years left of Seth, if that's true.
Well, by then he might have run out of stupid outfits to wear.
Fuck off, that guy's never going to run out of stupid outfits. I'm pretty sure the reason we don't see Becky Lynch anymore is because she's currently running around America, running to charity shops looking for the most hideous outfits you can find.
I mean, quite possibly.
Seth Rollins has committed several fashion crimes against humanity with those outfits.
and that's just this month.
Right? That's without going over the last 10 years.
Yeah, this is it. Going from there, we actually have I call it a social media promo, as it's a video taken from what I can only assume is Instagram page, where he's basically calling out AJ Styles. Wants
Yeah.
AJ Styles to be in to be at Raw next week, where he's going to be. At least I think it was Raw. And Logan Paul ends up rehashing a very old insult that was thrown AJ Styles. AJ Styles is well.
Oh, the old
Some
soccer
time
mum
ago.
haircut.
The old soccer mom haircut.
I mean, I think AJ's thick enough to not worry too much about being called a soccer mum.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to get to him somehow. I think he's been in the industry too long now to let little comments like that get to him. But
This is the guy who joined Aces and Eights for one night just to turn on them and give them a kicking.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so we went from this social media promo into a backstage segment with Kathy Kelly talking to Bron Breakker about what he feels about the Penta possibly joining Judgment Day. And Bron Breakker basically just tells Kathy Kelly he's not getting involved in any of that. What Penta does is up to Penta. He's just concentrating on retaining his title because and to quote, the dogs are barking in Glasgow. Woo, 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 woo. That's got to be one of the cheesiest, corniest lines ever. Like, dude, it doesn't work over here. I get in Georgia it works, right? That's the home of the Bulldogs. It's gonna, but it don't work over here like that. Change it up.
The thing about it is that he made that comment, and it was just you could hear that they sort of tried piping. They tried piping into that little promo. The
dog noises.
The expected crowd noise that just never came.
Yeah,
it was deader. It was deader than a dodo out there. But yeah, so we went from that little backstage promo to
it was the main event of the evening.
It was.
It was. We went into our main event of the evening, which was Bron Breakker defending his Intercontinental title against Penta. So this was Penta's first shot at a singles title in WWE since he joined not that long ago, but it feels like he's been here for ages. He's already had some seriously good matches with Ludwig Kaiser and Pete Dunne. The series with was it Dom Mysterio he had a couple of matches against?
He's had I think he's had one match against Dom Mysterio. Majority of his matches have been against Ludwig Kaiser and
Pete Dunne.
Which as you said, have been phenomenal matches realistically. But this is the first one that we've had. This is the first one that we've had. His very first attempt at a title belt in WWE. And curiously, as Bron Breakker is making his entrance into the ring, Michael Cole makes an announcement that the Slammy Awards are just around the corner, and apparently Bron Breakker is up for at least two of them. One of them being the OMG moment of the year, when he hit that spear on ISHO Speed.
Yeah, he hit ISHO Speed hard, and I actually, ironically, as you bring this up, about 5 minutes ago on social media, I came across a video clip of ISHO Speed doing a backflip on the Great Wall of China. It's the same backflip he did seconds before he got launched into oblivion by Bron Breakker.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when he was on the Great Wall of China, he wasn't looking around for Bron Breakker coming charging his way.
No, he probably was not at all. He should have been looking out for that in the Royal Rumble, though, because, like we like to mention, it isn't every man for himself. You know, as Roman got this wrong in his promo last week, where he reckons Punk screwed him, but nope. Can't screw a man when it's every man for himself.
No, this is it. And yeah, I mean, this was probably one of the most competitive matches I've seen in a while, because both of these men had each other incredibly well scouted.
They did. They certainly did.
Like there was very little between both of them that they didn't have an answer for. I mean, we know Penta has a absolute wealth of experience outside of WWE,
And he has zero fear.
Yeah, that's it.
Zero meda.
And Bron Breakker is, I mean, he comes from the same family as the Steiner.
Yeah. I mean, this guy is not fearful of anything, and I mean, he's adopted some things from his uncle and his father that, yeah, this guy's just an absolute animal.
I mean, you only have to see the devastating clothesline he hits on Penta after running the ropes. I mean, it's always impressive when you have to see how much speed that Bron Breakker can build up when bouncing between those ropes.
I'm pretty sure that when Bron Breakker hit that clothesline, the little bit of poo that came out of Penta when he stood up, it was still in the same spot in the air when Penta hit the floor. That's how hard and fast he went down. Like, he took that back bump with everything.
Oh, 100%. There was
concussion, maybe, with how violently he hit the floor. But then he still managed to get up and pull off a Hurricane Rana. Like, Penta wasn't trying to hide from Bron Breakker at all. He was he was willing to go toe to toe with the big man, and pretty much did. You know, like, we sit here and think about how athletic Penta is, for the fact that he's not a huge guy, but he's bigger than your standard guy. He's quite a tall bloke. But then when you see Bron Breakker when he jumps from the ring apron onto like across the announce table for that crossbody, just absolutely wiping himself and Penta out, and you're like, the fuck, man. How are you supposed to hide from a guy who can jump 6, 7, 8, 9 meters in front of him with ease?
Yeah, there is. I mean, nobody's really hiding from Bron Breakker. If you're in a ring with him, you're going to commit 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now, quite early on in this match, we see Dom, Mysterio, and Carlito of the Judgment Day make their appearance and sort of make their way down the entrance ramp. They're not necessarily at this stage coming in to interfere, but they are very much making their presence known. As we know, earlier in the evening, Dom made an offer to Penta about joining the Judgment Day and basically said, look, we're happy to help you win the title. As long as you commit to the Judgment Day, we'll be all sound.
Yeah, and I mean, for a new person to WWE, if I was in Penta's shoes at that point, I'd have probably gone, you know what, fuck it. I've got a lot of friends here. You guys speak Spanish. Well, Dom does, anyway. I'm sure Carlito probably knows a little bit. And Raquel Rodriguez will know some as well. You know, so he can fit in. He's got a little bit of extra protection. He gets some help at ringside to defend his title. That's not really a bad little deal. Unfortunately, you have to deal with dickhead Dom Mysterio and the slightly neurotic Finn Balor.
Slightly. That's.
I was trying to be polite to the guy. You know, he's He's doing more than I am, but he's still an asshole.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, so there were a few other spots that I did take some notes around. I mean, Penta hit a backstabber for a 2 count on Bron Breakker, and then manages also to hit an absolutely stunning
Oh, is this
Mexican destroyer.
the Mexican destroyer made Bron Breakker's eyes roll into the back of his head. I thought he was out at that point. It was it was beautiful.
Yeah, this is it. Um,
I mean
and
the reversal that Penta put in. So Bron Breakker went to go for a spear a little bit earlier on in the match, and Penta reverses it with a super kick, and then hits him with a sling blade as well.
yeah, this is what I meant earlier on when I said about the fact that they got an answer for everything.
The
Um,
only thing that I did not see Penta have an answer for, and Bron Breakker is an absolute animal for doing this. That Frankensteiner at the end. Oh,
are the as Pat McAfee is taking to calling it the Breakensteiner.
pretty much, because it breaks people. But yeah, he just box jumps from the floor to the top rope and flips him out. Like, fuck you, dude. Go. And he pretty much flipped Penta best part of the 3/4 of the way across the ring. Like, Penta
Oh yeah,
bounced.
yeah, this is it, and it just speaks again to the athleticism behind Bron Breakker. There's a reason that he's held that title as long as he has.
I'm looking at it
But
though, going, they've built him into such a strong, powerful character that only another strong, powerful character is going to be able to relieve him of that title belt. Who is it?
well, this is it. Is that
I
how?
mean, you look at the guys that Bron Breakker is defended against: Penta, Finn Balor, Sheamus. You know, like, I'm sure there's probably even more over the last 3 months since we've been doing finishes and factions. Um, it's yeah, it's incredible. So we've done almost 50 episodes. I think this one's 43, 44, something along those lines. And
Yeah,
yeah, he's held that IC title for pretty much the entire time that we've been doing this podcast, and he's had some massive matches defending that belt. So yeah, I can't think of anyone at the moment that's big enough to take him down, unless they throw him against Braun Strowman, who's also another big animal, and that would be a great match: Braun Strowman and Bron Breakker for an IC title, or if they fed him to Jacob Fatu. But I really don't want to see him get done that way. That would be a dirty doing, if you get me.
no, this is it, and I don't I don't think we're gonna get him getting sort of buried in quite that way. Realistically, it's
I hope
yeah,
not.
we'll no, it would be one surefire way of being able to kill his character in about 0 seconds flat. And his character would never recover from that, realistic.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much. But yeah, so like I said with this one, Bron Breakker hit the Frankensteiner for the 2 count, and then we get the fun from Dirty Dom Mysterio as he comes running into the ring and starts beating down on Bron Breakker. This then gets the match stopped due to a disqualification, which means that Bron Breakker wins and retains his Intercontinental title. Now,
it was at this point I did really sort of feel sorry for Penta because
he
I
got
don't think
fucked
he
right
was.
over.
Oh, 100%. He got screwed harder than Bonnie Blue.
But
It's a
he
case that.
does get a little bit of comeuppance for that screwing. So during the beatdown by Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor arrives in the ring with a steel chair and gives Braun a beating with that from behind. He then gives the chair to Dom and instructs Dom to beat down on Bron Breakker, which he does, to kind of prove, I'm still part of this. I'm Judgment Day through and through. And then they hand the chair to Penta.
Well, before that, but before Dom's even got the chair, Balor looks as though he's going to take a swing at Dom with it.
Could we blame him?
No, I'm pretty sure if I was holding a chair in front of Dominic Mysterio, I'd probably take a swing at him for it, and he ain't done fuck all to me.
I mean, to be fair, Dom got himself in a match that he didn't need to get involved in without the permission of Finn Balor. We are led to believe by WWE that Finn is the leader of Judgment Day. As much as everyone else congregates more towards Dom than Finn, Finn still is shown to us as the ringleader of Judgment Day. And if Dom's gone behind Finn's back and offered Penta that slot, and then gone down there to interfere in Penta's match, then yeah, Finn's got every right to want to stick a steel chair across Dom's face.
That, and Finn still blames Dom for costing him his Intercontinental match a week previously.
I mean, you can't blame him there either, because he did hang Finn up by his nuts on the top apron. And that is not a nice place where you want to be squashing your Gingangoolies.
No, definitely not. But in fairness, it wasn't. I don't think it was necessarily intentional to Finn take a plum shot from the top turnbuckle.
I don't think it was intentional at all, but accidents don't. You can't always blame it on the boogie, and it was an accident. Sometimes you have to own up to your own mistakes and say, well, actually, maybe I shouldn't have got involved. It wouldn't have happened. You look like you had it sorted.
Yeah, this is it. But as you were saying, the chair is handed to Dom. Dom delivers a few stiff shots to Breakker. Dom then gives the chair to Penta and basically says,
"Your turn.
Look, this is your opportunity. Take a swing at him, and you're as good as in the Judgment Day, boy." So.
But this is what I like to see: a nice little bit of spine from a man who feels like he doesn't have one because he is completely flexible beyond all points of recognition. Penta throws the chair back at Dom and then super kicks Dom through the chair, which was, it was beautiful. Watching Dom Mysterio take a kick to the face is always going to be one of my favourite things to do. Up there with watching Logan Paul get dicked on in any way, shape or form, and Enzo Amore getting hit in the balls.
Didn't realise Logan Paul had to start doing the same thing as Beaver.
Well, no, he's taking a leaf out of Bonnie Blue's book and getting dicked more than 1,000 times in a 10-minute match.
Fair enough. But yeah, no. So Dom gives the chair to Penta, and Penta uses the chair on Dom, basically saying no to the Judgment Day. And then Balor takes out Penta and Breakker and finishes it up, delivering a coup de grace to Penta himself. And the episode ends with Judgment Day standing tall over Penta's broken little body.
With Bron Breakker lying broken on the outside.
Yeah, very much so. And that very much brings me to the end of my notes for SmackDown.
Mine are very much done as well, to be fair. The only thing I'm going to throw into there is I couldn't pick a match of the night, after the first watch through and stuff, after recording this and having a conversation between it all. I think for me, if you take out the interference, I think the Penta Bron Breakker match was probably one of the better ones of the night, to be fair. But I will also say that the Dragon Lee versus the Large Black Coffee was also a half decent match for what it was.
See, if I had to choose one out of because this was a very promo heavy episode.
It was.
This was a big storytelling episode of Raw, realistically. We weren't here for action, we were here for story. But yeah, I'd probably go actually with the the opening match, Usos versus A-Town Down Under.
Okay.
Even with the ending and everything like that, I've always enjoyed watching the Usos do business. They do business like only the Usos can.
Yeah, definitely. No, fair play.
But yes, I suppose the only thing to say is that is Finishers and Factions does Monday Night Raw over and done with for another week. We hope you've enjoyed listening to it. Any feedback is welcome. And we will see you back again for Finishers and Factions does NXT from the Performance Center. So, yeah,
well,
lots to look forward to there.
Certainly is. I'll see you on NXT, Adam. Peace out.
See you in a bit.